All right, hey, it looks like we're live, folks. What's up? We're going to work on some ship tokens and weapon labels today for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement that we've been creating here online for the past year. Here online for the past year. Sounds like my signal's coming through okay. Fantastic. So I'm going to boost my signal here real quick across Twitter, Reddit, Discord real quick. And then we'll get to work here for a couple hours. But for those that aren't familiar with me yet, hey folks, my name is Theurgy. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition here for the past number of years. There are a slew of links in the description down below of work that I have previously produced. They all have extensive free previews, so if you click into those, you'll see probably about 150 different illustrations just across those books there. If you do a search for my name on DMsGuild, I'm in over 100 different publications at this point. If you open up any of the books that I created, the free preview lets you take a look at the content. If you're a 5e enthusiast, I run campaigns from level 1 to 20 in about 200 to 250 some odd hours. And the books that I create are either tools that that just organically manifested during the course of a campaign, or it's something specifically that I wanted to create so I could run a particular type of campaign. So the Spelljammer Combat Exploration book, Wizards published the 5th edition version of Spelljammer in August 2022, and I'm a huge Spelljammer enthusiast, have been since the 80s, and so it was a little thin on mechanical details, which is something I really loved about Spelljammer, was how different the setting was from other settings. So I decided to add additional mechanical depth to the system using this product. So Spelljammer Combat and Exploration is going to publish on DMsGuild just like everything else that I do. But what I'm talking about, when I have an idea about something, I have to play test it. If it works well, then we'll go through all the process of breaking down the words and making sure the hold on, I just pressed a button or something. Something weird just happened. Nah, we're probably fine. So yeah, we go through all the wording. If it works well, we hire an editor to help parse it out. We then break it down, ideas per page like this. All these gaps that you see in the text is where illustrations go. Today we're working on a compilation piece of all the different vessels and fightercraft, along with all the different types of weapons and tools that are on those ships for you to engage in combat using 5e mechanics. I have a number of videos that are in the video section of my list. Here, hold on real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Discord channel. Thanks, a shout out to the Reddit Preservation Society. You can follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney. Best way to support channel, other than buying books to encourage me to make more, would be to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. We've picked up more subscribers since yesterday. Thanks a lot, folks, for really being interested in this stuff. It's a joy to bring it to y'all. Here's the full playlist of everything that we've created to date on this stream since August 2022. This book cover we created back around episode 15, so you can check that out. And right now, so when we have these gaps, we then extract a page, drop it into Photoshop, and then we work on it in Photoshop. So we've been building this, like I said, we've been building this compilation piece here with all the different types of weapons that are on the vessels and the craft. But these tokens are, the 50-foot scale tokens are pretty damn small. So it doesn't jump, it's not, I mean, you have to zoom, it's a PDF document, so you have the ability to zoom in pretty good with it. But I want to put labels on here so folks understand what sort of weapons are on here. And then I'm probably going to have to end up doing separate index cards for each ship so they can list out like their individual damage. Because like the amount of damage that a ship's ram does is going to be dependent on the size of the ship, which we have, of course, all the details in the text down below. I think I'm going to be dealing with weapon damage and squadrons today as the recording that I'm going to publish tomorrow. So if you want to find out more about squadron combat, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll get a notification tomorrow morning that we've gone live with that. I expect that to publish in about 23, just a little bit more than 23 hours, about this time tomorrow. But for now, we're going to mess around with dots. So duplicate the layer, merge it on down there. And then we're going to duplicate the layer again. I'm going to zoom in here. Just do a casual grab like that. Yeah, so all I have to hit is the tab button. I can see my list of stuff over here, and that's going to give me the freedom to come over here and mess around as much as I need. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do this, but we have harpoon flingers, which are 4. And mangonel, which are 7. Ballista, which are 6. Is that it? Mangonel, ballista, harpoon flingers. Yep. I think this is how I want to do this. I honestly don't know the proper way of doing this yet. So we're trying to suss that out right now. Take all this. I'm gonna go with dots. Timely timer, 20-minute timer. Make sure I don't fall down any tangents too far. I like the idea of positioning these things around where they don't necessarily have to get in the way. Potentially do something like this. Let's give this a try for a bit, shall we? So these numbers are larger than the text. So if you can read the label, you can read the text. So you can read the dots. So I think that's going to be okay. And yeah, so let's give that a go. See if that works out fine. We could always drop it 50%, right? Should probably leave it full. I don't hate it. Don't hate it. Nah, not in love with that. Let's try that again. I think I like 3. Okay. Damsel, we are making right. So let's grab this, bring that over. That's down here. Here's our damsel fly dots. call the whole thing dots. And here we go. There, like that. And we'll be here with living ship. Cool. All right, so let's see what we can see. So I'll have 4. And Minganel. No, the Ballista, which is 6, and Trebuchet, which is 8. 6 and 8. Seems to be a decent way to do this. Got a 3-point over here. Here to here. Go. I think this is gonna work. Scorpion. Got harpoon flingers. We got fuck. I need tentacles and claws too, don't I? Maybe I can do maybe C and T. Maybe that would work. C for claw, T for tentacles. I think that could work. What do we call that specifically? I forgot what we call it. Hold on. go find it. Grappling claw, grappling tentacles, that's what they're called. Okay. We can figure that out. Where are we at? Where's it at? Come on, dog. There. Thank you. That seems to sit okay. That's gonna sit okay. There, okay. Second verse in is the first. File, export, create, interior pages, done. Equipment, 11, options, this page only as a document without any bells, properties, or whistles. Equals publish, replace, single page, done, good, undo, undo, save. Sure there's no weirdness happening down here. Looks like everything's square. Cool, okay, so let's go back to here. Oops. Here, zoom out, file, open, 11, select, okay, select all, copy, paste. So far, so good, so what? In here, we conceal those things. Where are you at? There. Sorting my shit out here real quick. There. That. No, like this. Make sure it's centered up proper. Yeah. There we go. Good. Now I want to bring these to here. And I want to pull these to here. Let me take your dots. There we go. Merge down and then good. Put that together. Thank you. Pull back. Don't need that anymore. This is now empty. This is now empty. This is still relevant. Duplicate that group and merge it so it's a single layer so I can manipulate it easily. Bump. Pull it down to here. Don't need that. Don't need that. Duplicate this. There. All right, cool. We're back in business. We are back in business. Hey, Justin, how you doing? We're building. I don't know if you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and if you do know about D&D, I don't know if you know about Spelljammer. And if you do know about Spelljammer, I don't know if you've been here before, but I'm building variant rules for Spelljammer. So right now we're building ship tokens. Well, we built the ship tokens, but now we're labeling the ship tokens. Where are we putting the labels? Where are my labels? Dots. Here we go. Where'd that stray thing come from? There we go. Conceal that. So, yeah. So, ships have weapons. Ships have melee weapons. Ships have ranged weapons. Ranged weapons are siege weapons or mounted weapons. Mounted weapons are anti-personnel weapons. Siege weapons are anti-structure and ship weapons. So, we have our little matrix here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bludgeoning rams, piercing rams, slashing rams, harpoon flingers. Harpoon flingers and eldritch cannons are mounted weapons. Bludgeoning rams, piercing rams, and slashing rams are both for fighter craft and vessels. Ballista, mangonel, trebuchet, and gift cannons are all generally for vessels, but we have examples of fighter craft that have ballistas on them as well. So these are vessels. Each square equals 50 feet. These are fighter craft. Each square equals 5 feet. These are harpoon flingers. This is the spelljamming helm. This is a ballista. This is a grappling claw. That's a manta ray ship. Here is a spiderling. This is piercing rams. This is a ballista, harpoon flingers, and then the helm is on the inside of the ship, out of view. Flitter, eldritch cannon, helm, harpoon flingers, ballista, no ram. And these are technically inside, but these are crafts, so they're smaller scale. Here's a skiff, bludgeoning ram, harpoon flinger, helm, ballista, a lithid cuttlefish, grappling tentacles, eldritch cannon, helm, and a goblin arrow. Has a slashing ram as a blade along the edge of the arrow, the harpoon flinger, and the helm. So yeah, that's how that stuff works. And then we have, I'm going to be publishing this on DMs. I've got a shitload of books that are linked down below that you can take a look at if you're interested in free previews for different books I've created on DMsGuild before. But this one is currently 107 pages. We're still finishing up. We've got all the illustrations done, but I haven't imported all of them yet. But at the tail end of this thing, there's a 20-page conversion guide for Light as Araxis for D&D to use these mechanics as an example adventure, using the example adventure that Wizards of the Coast provided. Now, here's your scale: 500-foot scale and 50-foot scale, and then 5-foot scale. The flitter fighter craft next to the hammerhead vessel and all the weapons that are on there. So we're going through the process of labeling all these things. We have a table here of all the vessels and craft, how big they are, the space that they occupy at the different scale, the hit points that they have, the materials that they're made from, the strength and constitution saving throws that are intrinsic to the materials that are used, the weight of the ship itself, including, and then here's your cargo supply and the amount that it can tow, and then here's its rough costs and gold pieces. We have a breakdown of how materials work, cost works per size, cargo limit and towing, materials, how the damage reduction, armor class, strength, constitution, saving throws, how all that stuff works. We break it all down, so in the first few pages, you have everything that you need as a DM or a player to make your own ship. It might not look as pretty as mine, but you can make a grid. You can easily make a grid and just like put tools and weapons and stuff like that, your helm, whatever it is that you need on your makeshift. Like when I was 16, when I first got the box set back in, I was 14 in 1989. When I picked up the box set from B. Dalton Bookstore, I immediately fell in love with making my own ships. So I was always doing deck plans with grids and stuff and putting like ballistas and mangonels and stuff like that on my decks. So I get to do it. I get to do it now. After a 30-year build-up to being able to do things like this, I can now actually do things like this. So I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, back on task. Let's see. We have, obviously we need to grab the letter C for the grappling claws. But I don't know if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition or not, honestly, Justin. The supplement, the reason why it's 107 pages is because basically it takes the combat, spellcasting, and adventure chapters from the DMG and the player's handbook and translates them to be used at the 50, 500 foot scale, as well as 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 mile scale on a grid, on the same grid system that you would use on a normal D&D combat. So you can have ships functioning like characters at larger scales, and then characters can combine their action economy aboard a ship to perform like combat, maneuvering, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of tech that goes into it. But basically, for us to be able to make ship combat that operates like 5e combat, you have to translate all those combat, exploration, and spellcasting chapters from the core rules to make them work with things that aren't 5-foot scale, 50-foot, 500-foot scale. There's a lot of things that have to take into consideration, considering the size of stuff that you're dealing with, the size and the distance that they can move. So let's see. Harpoon flingers are 4, so I need one of those. But I've been building this on stream since August 2022. It's going to be done here in a week or two. So I'm pretty excited. Ballista and Mangonel, we can grab those too. There. Let's see, we can put the 4 here. We'll put the 6 over here. We'll put the 7 here. And the C we'll put here. That actually sits pretty nicely. Wow, yeah. Only the 6 is off center. Not bad, Kearney. My spatial awareness skills continue to grow in power as I get to do more illustrations. This wound will only continue to grow in power as it heals. 1, 2, 3. There you go. All right, so now we're going to take down to 3. I see I've done something wrong. I don't know if that's the best way to do that. Yeah, probably not. Let's try doing this instead. I see you're still off. I could put a 4 on each side and have arrows going each way, but I want to arrange these things so they're not overlapping. So I have to find a place to put the C without crowding the scorpion. I could put maybe the 6 over here. So it's angling down like this, and then I can have the 4 over. Why is that any different from what I'm already doing? I'm just swapping sides. Why bother, Kearney? Why? Let's see. This is why I get paid the big bucks. That's hilarious. Maybe I can. I don't like how difficult it is to see through those legs. Like if I went all the way up here like that. Yeah, that looks even sloppier. No. No, 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 no. You know. That seems, yeah, that's not bad. That seems decently spread out. Yeah, okay. How are we doing? 10? Okay, we got an hour and a half-ish. We're doing good. It's sitting pretty. Layout design is no joke. Serious business. Turtle, turtle. Right. Cool. All right. We're here. We got bludgeoning ram is a 1. And we've got a slashing rams, which is 2. I'm sorry, 3. We have 2 harpoon flingers, which are 4. No eldritch cannon. Ballista and mangonel, 6 and 7. So add those in. Go 1 here. And then we got 3. 4. Put here. I'm going to put that here, actually. We finished the actual book illustration yesterday on stream, episode 303. Now all we have left is graphic design work, which isn't nearly as sexy or fun as artwork is, but it is a necessary part of this complete book. Certainly not the sugar part. One, 4, 3, 3, 6, 7. Let's take 7. Do 3, then 4. No, it's 6, right. Maybe we do this instead. That's not bad. I don't immediately hate that, so that's good. Oh my god, another 20 minutes. How about that? Yeah, let's try that. Let's take this down to 3. Good. And then we'll take 6. Nope, 6 and the 3 need to be in different. Yeah, I have to flip these. Oi. If I did this. No, never see it. Alright. So let's have that sit like that. Let's go there, there. like that positioning. The only other way I could do it is if I put a 3 here to point at these back fins, a 6 here, a 7 here, and then 3 and 3 here to point at these fins here, and that just seems busy. This seems a little, you know, this seems a little bit more efficient. Because I can open up a little bit more space here on the document. Like, see, I can tag on these and go drop them down a few if I need to, but I don't need to right now because the text, yeah, this text stuff is separate from the actual background. Here it's just art. But on here, it's live text. That's why I like using. Well, you could argue that I should be using InDesign because you can do all this stuff native inside of the program. But for some reason, I just like using Photoshop. Let's see. That's Turtle Ship. Ow. Oops. Tyrant Ship. Totally stubbed my toe. Alright, what's up? Oh yeah? Let's take a close up for you here real quick. Just, you mean in general or what I did? Because this, it's a, what's the size on this? Hey, thanks for being here, by the way, and thanks for the engagement. Wasp, 120 feet, 20 feet wide. It because it's more than 100 feet, but it's up to 150. That makes it a 3x3 space, kind of like a huge size creature. I don't know if you know D&D yet or not, but this is a 50-foot square as opposed to a 5-foot square. So this is like a size huge creature at the colossal 50-foot scale, and because it occupies a 3x3 space, the way that we do squadrons and fleet combat, we want to make sure that each ship has at least one weapon for each square of space that it occupies at the 50-foot scale. So Mangonel here in the middle, and then 2 ballista, that's 3 siege weapons, and then we have an arcane cannon and 2 harpoon flingers, that's 3 mounted like anti-personnel weapons, and then we have piercing rams that this thing can stab on and hold on to a ship of the same size or larger. Otherwise, it could potentially grapple. Like you could take a Wasp fighter ship and then have it jump onto and claw its way onto a squid ship and just basically stick to it as a grappling. And then now that's tucked into it, it can just keep stabbing with its piercing rams. I love it. It's fucking fun. So you're having characters like the pilot is using the melee weapons as their attack actions. So having your pilot be a fighter with a lot of attacks makes a lot of sense. And then your weapon crews, like all your siege weapons and your mounted weapons that are on deck. Other characters can use their action economy to load, to have siege crews load and fire those weapons repeatedly. So the action sequence is close distance, claw, catch hold of a ship, and then just start laying down fire onto the deck so you can kill off crew. But crew are too small to be targeted with siege weapons, so you have to use the anti-personnel weapons, the mounted weapons, to be able to target individual creatures. But then you can save the siege weapons to attack the siege weapons, disable them being able to attack you, or to damage the ship itself. A pilot has a warding bond spell on them. So at any time when you're piloting the ship, you can choose to take damage on behalf of the ship that's being attacked, and all the ships have damage reduction. So like if you get hit with a ballista shot, it's going to do 30 points of damage to the squid ship. A squid's made of wood, which has a damage reduction of 10, so that 30 damage gets dropped down to 20. And then if I wanted to, my pilot could eat that 20 points of damage. The ship takes nothing, and then the healer, the cleric I have next to me, just slaps me with a heal spell, and then that ballista fire did no damage to your ship that round. So that's why, like, you might want to have a barbarian as your pilot, because while they're raging, they can reduce all damage by half. So if that barbarian took that 20 points of damage, you would actually only need to heal 10 because the damage reduction because of the resistance. So, well, that's and well, if you do, the last 20 pages of this document is a 25-page conversion guide for Light as Araxis. So you can use all of these mechanics, and we have a bunch of combat scenarios set up to use ship combat in the Light as Araxis challenge. Like if you've seen the Light as Araxis, we use the same structure of the. Here, I'll peel that document open here real quick because we're on it. I'm apparently taking a quick coffee break, so thanks for the distraction. But we finished the last illustration for the book yesterday on stream, episode 303. We started in August 2022. My first episode of this stream was me buying the book and opening it up online and looking at what it says. And then from there, I've been building it ever since. There. So here's the Light as Araxis convert. This is the second appendix. So like this is the back 25 pages converting this. So here's the stats for the Moon Dancer, the weapons that it uses. Here's your crew and the actions that they take. Like Captain Sartell orders characters to command ballista during combat and then assumes a support role from the bridge using the orrery station as a command post. It can then use Sartell's actions, bonus actions, and reactions to grant targeting for bonus, for advantage for siege weapons to attack. And it can use the help action to reload as a command from the deck for crews to organize. And can have like a warding effect as a reaction. So when the pilot takes damage, Sartell can choose to take some of that damage also to help to help prevent the ship from being killed, but also to help make sure that the pilot doesn't get too fucked up. So these are the different things. Like Flapjack the pilot uses all of its action economy for the character to be piloting the ship, but then he's co-piloting like Chewbacca. So he can help you with he can take a disengage action for you while you're piloting. He can use the disengage action so that you can withdraw by using like extra maneuvering. So like you could have 3, 4, 5, 6 people all co-piloting together using their action economy. If all you have is a melee combat ship, you could have everybody in like this group thought where you're pooling your action economy together, so you can just be just laying out shitloads of damage and a lot of maneuverability to be able to dodge between targets like a whirling dervish ship. While your enemy could have a lot of different weapon commanders that are just taking pot shots at you as you spin by. So there's a lot of different ways to break up the team's action economy, both as NPCs and character groups, so that you're working together to make your ship go. Idea of pilot being able to take a punch or two. Yeah, and then the siege commanders too. While you're in command of a ballista, the creatures, as long as they're adjacent or occupying space with the siege weapon, they can't be targeted directly unless you're actually on deck with them and attacking them directly yourself. Otherwise, they've just become part of the crew and weapon. And the commander, if you take a shot at a seat, like a ballista has 50 hit points, and a trebuchet does D8 times 10 damage. So a trebuchet can destroy a ballista in one hit. They don't have any damage reduction, they're just sitting ducks. So you're either going to have your weapons scrapped out and then you have to spend mending rituals to spend time to repair the things, or your siege commander, probably like a paladin, a fighter, maybe like a bard of swords, is going to be in command of the siege weapons, and then they can take hits just the same as the pilot can. The pilot is the default siege commander of all the siege weapons on a ship until somebody else on deck takes command of a crew and starts firing with it. And I've done a couple different videos about how this action economy works that you can check out if you were to dive into my channel here, like and subscribe, and then take a look at my videos. I've done a whole series on these different mechanics. Like here's how some of the piloting mechanics work. Here's Spelljammer 5e, siege weapons and action economy, how you use your 5e action economy to fire siege weapons during combat. How the map scaling system works from the 5-foot, 50-foot, 500-foot scale during combat. Morale and mutiny is actually a pretty big deal, especially once you get into fleets and squadrons. atmospheric travel, and incremental distance travel. It's a whole series of videos that I've been putting out, one every Sunday. I'll make a recording when we're done here today about, I think I'm going to do some stuff about squadron maneuvering. Not sure exactly yet. But yeah, I keep streaming the thing until it's done. So, but yeah, you pick up the book, you get the appendix. You also get all these tokens as like little black and white, like for print or on virtual tabletop, as well as like there's like 80 different creature NPC tokens, a couple different maps. There's we organize how you can have a siege on the Citadel of Light in a fleet format, so that you have multiple ships engaging in combat at the same time under your command. It was hella fun, hella fun to develop, and it was super fun to play test. And now my home table wants me to run a full campaign for it. I typically run a campaign from level 1 to 20 in about 250 hours. So that'll be a fun thing to put together for my table. We just finished our last 20th level campaign on Wednesday, and so they're like, yeah, we want to do Spelljammer next. I'm like, all right, we'll do some Spelljammer. This here, and probably put another one here. But yeah, when this thing publishes, I'll basically be doing like a director's cut walkthrough of it, just going through pages, kind of like those little vignette videos that I did about talking about different stuff. I'm just going to basically just go from page to page. It's like, yeah, here's the thought process that went behind this, or like, here's why we didn't add dodge as an action for pilots, because it gave disadvantage against absolutely everything on board the ship, and that was too much. Considering the damage reduction and the team reduction, having something that just lets you have disadvantage on attacking you it was too excessive, so we had to end up dropping that off. Blah 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 blah. There's a lot of testing and fucking around with how 5e works in general, how we could upscale it. It was a hell of a project to do, and the end results are excellent. And it's piecemeal, so like people can take as much as, like, if they want to use like clunky, shitty rolls, like if they want to use Saltmarsh rolls instead of the rolls that we recommend, they can. It doesn't do anything. Like, you can still use all the damage and the scaling and the adventuring methodology that we follow in this book. If you don't want to use our combat, that's totally fine. But you'll be abandoning like dynamic, fast-paced combat if you do so. So it just depends on what your table's interested in, I guess. I don't like the placement of that. Maybe I should just do this. That's probably good. I'm pretty snarky and cocky about the system. But it's everything that I wanted for Spelljammer in 5th edition that wasn't provided to me. So, pardon my swagger, I'm pretty fucking proud of it. I'm more proud in this than I am of my 5-color mana spell point variant rules, if you can believe that. That was a hell of an accomplishment. I don't like how these are placed. But I'll be doing, when the 2024 books get published, I'll be rebuilding the color mana system to work with the new 2024 tech. And of course the Martial Powers book that we've been streaming during lunches during the week, that we're about to start playtesting there as well. And boy, that thing's fucking sick. That is such a hella book. I love it. It's almost too good for the DMsGuild, but I'm addicted to color mana, so I gotta put it where I love it, you know? Tyrant ship. And we'll go with Bombard. Bombard are super cool because the Bombard is so big. You can't. A siege commander can't be in command of the cannon to fire it. The pilot has to specifically be in charge of loading and firing the because you have to change the whole orientation of the ship to be able to fire it. As opposed to like the mangonel and the ballistas and the mounted weapons on top, you can swivel around to face wherever you need them to during combat. But the ship itself has to be moved to be able to fire. And it doesn't really matter because you have the book, like the 5e book specifically said that you can reorient and shift position of the ship during combat to be able to fire on anything without having to worry about your own ship giving cover to the target. So you have this gyroscopic sort of maneuvering, this hovering that you can do as a ship to be able to change orientation, which lets us translate that into things like 5e movement of like stepping sideways, like I can shift or even slide back while I'm making shots, or I can pivot and roll while I'm attacking something. So you can have this really great movement. So being able to it's not action economy. You have to like movement points or something to make the ship move. It's just part of normal 5e hover mechanics to be able to spin in place while you're piloting. If you were towing something, or if you were in the water, or if it was a flying sleigh that's being towed by creatures, then you would have a maximum of 90-degree turns per round with your, like, every time you use the move action, you could turn up to 90 degrees at a time. So you have that jankiness to it. But if the ship is fully self-propelled through magic, it has hovering capabilities, so you can just gyroscope in place and maneuver as you need to. Which is crazy because the ships are so fast and maneuverable, but these archaic weapons that we use are so finite and limited, and you have like this infinite speed that you can move, but you have to slow to like this 500-foot scale. Like basically, like in combat, you can fly 100 million miles a day and be chasing each other like this, but at relative scale, you might only be 1,000 feet apart. So your tactical scale while you're in a chase like that allows you to maneuver closer and further away and like try to close distance to grapple. Because at the 500-foot scale, it doesn't really matter. It's just what map background. If there is no map, no environment, then you could be flying through space at 1,000,000 miles per hour, 100 million miles per day, as it were. But like if you're flying over a city or something, now you have to worry about the scale of the city and where your ships are relative to that. Otherwise, movement's all relative, which we break down in the book for you to be able to have high-speed chases, to be able to like one of the here, I'll show you. Major tangents here. Sorry, real quick, because I'm geeking out on crap. Yeah. That was my timer to tell me that I'm off mark. I have a 20-minute timer that tells me, Phil, you're falling into a tangent. Be careful. And I'm like, acknowledged. But I'm a man on a mission. Let's go to Zaraxis, and let's here's the Citadel of Light that I built a map of so that you can conduct a proper siege. Each of these squares is 500 feet. So, where are we? Here. Right, so the 500-foot scale, trebuchet towers here, and then like docks over here, so you can have a bunch of ships, like a squadron of star moths that fit inside of a 500-foot square. Like 2 star moths can, well, you can get up to 4 moths, star moths, a 200-foot star moth. You can get 4 of them into a 500-foot square. So you can have a squadron of star moths, 4 of them, and so if there's supposed to be 40 ships defending the Citadel, then that's basically 10 squares worth of star moths, 4 star moths per square. It's pretty easy to break it down. And then from there, it's just like firing multiple attacks, firing multiple siege weapons. But we have the Citadel, and then yeah, there we go. And then we have the bottom of the Citadel, because you could in one of the tactics that we provide in the conversion guide is if you want to use the fleet combat to distract the enemy while you have your characters go in as commandos, you could land on the underside of the Citadel and then go to the edge and then flip over of the gravity, so you can land in this forest here and then take the 500, 1,000 to 1,500 foot march to get to the underside where this trebuchet tower is on the underside of the Citadel. You could then just use your gravity hop to bounce across the gravity plane to the top side, and then just walk into the temple. Or another thing that you could do is you could take one of the asteroids from Doom Space, and you could launch it and target the temple itself to hit it with an asteroid. And if you do, you have to do, I think it's like 40,000 damage you need to do to be able to just outright destroy the Citadel, to cut it off from Zaraxis. And that will just cause the entire thing to be destroyed in time. Like that basically poisoned it. because they won't be able to rebuild the Citadel in time to save the system from being destroyed. So that's like a really easy way to shoot, but we don't point it out. If your team is clever and realizes we have 30 some odd ships, we could probably all just tether and pull an asteroid with it. We have towing mechanics, like the towing weight you can pull on ships, so you can pool all the towing tons that your ship can pull. Is like, well, we could probably get like a 200-foot rock, and if we do that, would that do enough damage to destroy the Citadel? Maybe, maybe not. But it's also super big, so it would take a lot of effort for them to stop it from smashing into whatever you target. So there's a lot of really fun shit you can do using this system, because it's just using the 5e combat engine at a larger scale. And because there's so much discrepancy in that size, there's a lot of things we can do inside of that space as characters. So, but we lay all that out in the conversion guide. So, but that wasn't the point I was actually trying to make. And I see that there's some text down there, so I'll get to you guys in a second. But the point I was actually trying to make was... I haven't finished yet, so we'll be doing that next week. But here's an asteroid dungeon where these are 500-foot squares, 500-foot square blocks. Your ship can move 5 squares per move action, and if you take the dash action, you get another 5 squares. But you can be fighting ships inside of this asteroid belt. You start here at the Theurgy wreckage, and then you have to find your way out of the... They're shifting asteroids where this Theurgy derelict is, or this Elithid nautiloid derelict is at. So your team gets tricked into exploring it to see if there's any survivors or anything worth salvaging. And while you do that, Theurgy slip in from their hiding spot over here and creep in on your ship. So by the time your team gets off of the nautiloid derelict back onto the Moon Dancer, you've got 3 spiderling fighter craft and a night spider hunting you. And they're taking shots at you. The Theurgy spiderlings are small enough craft. Here, this is the space galleon that you're on. It's a 3x3 space. Here's the night spider, which occupies a 4x4 space. But it also has a squadron of these spiderlings, and this is the 5-foot scale. So this thing is only 5, 10, 15. It's like this thing could squeeze through a 20-foot space in between asteroids. So on this asteroid map that we're looking at, all these little crevices, the spiderling fighter craft can crawl and jet through these areas as just difficult terrain without having to worry about. But this is too big for the galleon and the night spiders to go through. So while the vessels that you're on are having to navigate around the full asteroids, each time you hit this number, it's like a doorway, and you have to make a piloting check. And if you botch your piloting check, you'll get through, but you careen off of the rocks and take damage. So to be able to move from your point to find your way to the exit, the DC, your piloting check DC, continues to escalate as you move further and further out of the dungeon. That could be good, because if the night spider screws up their piloting check, they could get scuttled and lose ground on you for you to try to escape. But those little spiderling fighter craft, they can move as fast as you can inside of this asteroid field. And they are uninhibited by these walls. So if you're like snaking around here through 16 and 19, they could be over here and just skip all that stuff and just kick through here and then intercept you here before you get through this gate here. So if you get scuttled and lose your concentration, so you lose power of the ship for a moment, they could then close distance, jump on board, claw hold of your ship, and then dump Umber Hulks onto your deck. And now your crew are getting thrown off board because the Umber Hulk will mesmerize your siege weapon crew. And while they're mesmerized, they can't help you, so your action economy on firing your weapons erodes. And if they're just standing there, the Umber Hulks are trained to just pick you up and throw you off deck, so that you just bob out and then one of the spiderling fighter craft come along, grab you, and then pull you into the abdomen here. They can fit up to 1 Umber Hulk inside the abdomen, or with squeezing up to 8 humanoids of medium size. So they can take your entire crew and shove them into this. There's a little prison inside there. When you see the schematic, there's a prison back there. It's a holding cell. So you can just cram a bunch of people in there and take them captive, take them back to the Night Spider. So they're stealing your crew. So if you don't win the challenge, you lose fucking people that you just rescued from the planet. It's awesome. It's awesome. And there's like a bounty for this, so you can pay for Crux's ship when you get to the, or any kind of repairs that you need to do, or even some minor magic items once you get to the Rock of Brawl after this. But yeah, this is included in there, and we provide a walkthrough of how to play out this combat encounter. And once you get that, then you as a DM, using the scaling system, you can create any kind of a dungeon or free flow environment that you want. You can have fighter ships engaging with each other as though you guys were just riding horses through canyons. It kind of has the same mechanics, but much vaster scale. Yep. Well, I'm glad you guys like it. I've got to say, if I have an opportunity to explain what we're doing so far, there's at least something there that people are interested in seeing. There's some really complicated, there's like some really niche maneuvering stuff, when you're dealing with like this fighter craft is only 40 feet in size, right? If it wants to get inside of the area of the Star Moth, and if you tag it, you can then align your gravity plane with it. Since you're smaller, if you can fully occupy the space of the object that you align your gravity plane with, they basically tow you. So you no longer have to spend any movement economy to stay inside of the space that you're riding or you're holding onto inside of a larger ship space. That's called aligning and pacing. And they're a little bit more abstract mechanics, but they're the kind of things that's like, hey, if my ship is this much smaller, but I can catch up to them, and can I grapple them? No, you're too fucking small to grapple, but if you hit them, you can grab hold. And now they can't, now they have to use a disengage action. They have to save to ungrapple, and then they have to disengage to knock you free of your own gravity alignment. And then you can use your action economy to get the hell away from them. But since you use your disengage action is going to allow you to escape without taking opportunity attacks. If you knock them off of your gravity and you haven't disengaged, they're just going to get towed with you because they're still inside your gravity plane. But that's like more obtuse, you know. It's like more of a theoretical space than just I push token around and I shoot you. But once you dive into the system, you're starting to get more complicated in the kind of things that you want your characters to do. Like the more they grok the system, they're going to be like, hey, how can I dodge between these things and line up a shot? It's like, well, that's what squeezing is. Here's the mechanics on squeezing between spaces so you can do that. Like it just keeps going further and further and further down the rabbit hole because you have all the 5e movement and combat and exploration stuff, but then you take it to the 500-foot scale while you still have 5-foot people aboard that 500-foot battle platform. So there's object size interaction issues that need to be addressed, which is why it's 100 pages. Because you have to dive through all those details, because once people get it, they ask complicated questions. And you might not need the complicated shit at first, you might just think it's cool. But the more you use it, the more complicated you're going to be thinking about what can I actually do with this. And we're trying to provide as much information about how to do different ideas as you want. We'll have a mecha book. We're going to have a kaiju book. We're going to have random system generators. I'm building an asteroid mining belt campaign right now. It's like a hex crawl where you're pulling resources out of a mine. I'll be streaming that once this is done. There's a lot of fun shit we can do with the system once it's in place, but it takes time, which is extended because I'm constantly yammering. So don't mind me. Don't mind me. Oh yeah, we're on the bombard now. That's what we were doing. We were talking about bombards firing at things. That's right, because the bombard is so huge that it doesn't have its own swivel. You actually have to swivel the entire ship to be able to take your shot. So you could have a siege commander coordinating the crew to reload the weapon, but the pilot has to be the one that issues the command to fire, because only the pilot's going to be able to line up the ship to make the shot. But you can play multiple roles at the same time, and multiple characters can have the same role to help each other. Like I was talking about, you had like 3 or 4 pilots all focusing on the helm at the same time together, so you can get a shitload of action economy and a ton of movement in while you're bouncing, like you're doing a skirmish sort of thing. You can bounce from target to target to target. Like if you had 3 people sharing pilot of an arrow, and its whole blade here that's a slashing ram, so you can dodge from target to target, and every time you strafe across somebody, you're dealing slashing damage to them because you have a giant sharpened blade that you're carving out of the ship. So it's just fun shit. Just neat things you could do. Like the spring attack feat from 3rd edition, it kind of has that kind of a feeling to it, where you're bouncing from target to target, and so your team is using action economy together to move, disengage, and make attacks. That eats up a shitload of economy. So having a co-pilot like Chewie and Han makes a lot of sense if you're a run and gun sort of craft. If you're just a battle barge, it just kind of floats along. It's like just have the minimum that you need for a pilot to minimize damage and to keep the thing going, and have everybody just load up on weapon decks and just firing silos and crap. Anyway, I'm geeking out again. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Just talking shit. Don't mind me. 11 o'clock. We're doing good. Let's see. I can take this to here. And we have some mangonels and some harpoon flingers off the back deck. So that's a 4. Nope, their balls does 4 and 6. That's what we need next. But yeah, these are such niche mechanics. Like, you really have to be interested in vehicle and ship combat to give a crap about this like at fucking all. Like, I don't blame Wizards of the Coast for not diving into this space. It's very niche. I can't see them possibly turning a profit with an idea like this. But for those of us that want this sort of stuff, it's fucking awesome. So that's what compels me to do it. Is that this is the kind of stuff that I want in my campaign as a DM. Like I said, I run 5e campaigns from level 1 to 20 in about 200 some odd hours, and so I have the ability to dive into really like long tail campaign adventure ideas that take a long time to pay off, just because I have a reliable team that shows up every week and are committed to running through 20 level campaigns with me. You have to have a team that has the same sort of capacity to perform as you, regardless of what you want to do as a DM. If you don't have a team that can hang with you, then it doesn't really matter. But this is the kind of shit that I want in my games. I used to run Spelljammer stuff like this in the Cypher system, Numenera, Monty Cook's system. But it's too narrative. The team that I have are 1st edition through 5th edition gamers. So we've been around. We just love D&D. It's our bread and butter. So the Cypher system was fun in being able to express things in a very wide range, and it's very improvised. It rewards improvisation a lot, but it's too loosey-goosey on the rules. My team actually wanted something that's crunchier, and I hadn't figured out how. This was before I started playing 5e, transitioning from 4e into 5e. I was just looking to take a break. But yeah, we wanted something crunchier than what we could determine. Like, we couldn't see how crunchy could Cypher get if you wanted to get crunchy. We just hadn't mastered the system enough. So instead, we just like, yeah, fuck it, let's just go into 5e. But we were still it was so easy to narrate ship combat in Cypher's system that I really lamented losing that. So once the Spelljammer the 5e Spelljammer came out, I'm like, hell yeah, where's the mechanics? Yeah, you left mechanics out of the box set here, buddy. So that's why I started getting to work, because it wasn't going to give me what I needed to, and I've got the mechanical chops to be able to build something like this. If you want other examples of shit that I've done, you can check in the description down below. The 5-color mana spell point variant rules. It converts spell casting and spell slots into a 5-color mana system for Magic the Gathering conversions, like Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven. Oops, that is the wrong layer. But I build mechanical systems. It's what I like to do. because I like showing how powerful of an engine the 5e game system really is. Like currently I'm working on a book about converting combat into skill challenges, and how to change and how to run heists as using the combat action economy for exploration and using skill challenges for combat. So you're flipping the pillars. Like social pillars is just conversation, no die rolls are necessary. Exploration is typically just some skill checks like athletics and perception and stuff like that. And combat breaks down your action economy into actions, bonus actions, and reactions and movement. But you could use that action economy in exploration if you wanted to, and de-emphasize combat by instead converting combat into an ability check. But you have to know what your fail state in your game is. If the fail state of your game is dying, then whatever causes you to die needs more action economy, so you have more opportunities to impact whether you get killed or not. If instead the fail state of your game is getting lost, then you want to have more action economy going into figuring out where you are, where you need to go, and what you need to do. So you can convert that exploration into the action, bonus action, reaction sort of action economy. If you're interrogating somebody, you could use actions, bonus actions, and reactions to pose threats, gauge their response, and catch them in a lie. Like, those are the things you can do with actions, bonus actions, and reactions if you were to convert social pillars into combat. And in that fail state, your major fail state would be being deceived, for instance. Like, you catch the bad guy as a skill challenge. You bring them down, you drag them to jail. Then the actual combat begins when you start having a conversation with the person that you're interrogating to see how much information you can fish out and how much of it's true. But it just depends on what kind of a focus you want your game to have. D&D is a combat-focused game, so there's more action economy and resources devoted to combat. But if you wanted to make a date simulator, then you'd have things about, you know, picking out the right kind of flowers or picking the right place, dressing nice, bathing well, prep stuff, and then like having you spill your drink, and I'm going to use a reaction to make a funny joke, so that instead of looking stupid, I'm going to use that reaction to recover and actually look really suave and stylish in her eyes. So, like, you can do that stuff, but you have to understand what you're using your action economy for. And I'm really just tangenting down a rabbit hole and geeking out. Sorry. Publish some action tokens. It's a couple weeks. Give me a couple weeks, and all this stuff will be in there'll be the book, the PDF, and then there'll be a zip file that'll have all the maps, all the ship tokens, all the creature tokens, and all the NPCs from Light of Xeraxis as well. So it'll be a full package. And then we'll keep doing more stuff from there. I've got other projects that I'm working on, but that stuff's on the docket. So let's see, we're doing a trebuchet, which is 8 on the front end. This doesn't have a ram. It's just a fish after all. Come on, Kearney. And Harpoon Flinger is what, a 4? Thank you. So I'll be doing this off screen later on today. I've finished all my illustrations, so now we're just doing token work and page layouts, which isn't nearly as sexy as actual artwork is. Ballista's number 6. But it has to get done, and the more I stream stuff, the more I have an opportunity to talk to people and for folks to see what it is I'm doing. So it's valuable time to me. Flying fish. Let's see. 8 is ballista. So let's put the ballista over. Nope, trebuchet. So let's put the trebuchet over here. And here we go. 6. Put that here for the ballistas. And how do I want to do this? I could do, I could put the 4 here. And then maybe another one over here. No, no, wait, beep. I could do here. I can do this. This will work. But thanks a lot for the support, guys. I'm really glad this is interesting to you. I think it's fucking awesome. But I made the thing, so I mean, I'm kind of biased, you know. It's other people grokking what I'm doing that brings the real satisfaction of, yeah, this is a legit thing. Go for it. There. That feels right. So there's a link to my Discord. Right here, you guys are most welcome to hang out. It's a new channel. I'm only just now getting into running a Discord channel. I've been a moderator on other Discords for a couple of years, so I think I could run a good ship. I just need to build up momentum so there's a decent crew there. But that's where I do my play testing and share my ideas about stuff, and I always post there when I'm live. So yeah, I'm gonna have to scoot this down a little bit to get some distance here. I might have to end up pushing all this apart a little bit more, but we have the space to do it. So we'll have to suss that out. Ugh, what a pain in the ass pushing these things around. Always such a pain in the ass, but it's worth it. Don't give me the labor pains, just give me the baby. Let's see, lamprey. Oh yeah. They're all. I use Roll20, so you'll be able to just pull these off the zip file as JPEGs and just drop them in. Maybe I'll make a pre-formatted Roll20 thing, or hire somebody to help me do it. I don't necessarily know how to build Roll20 content yet, but maybe it would be worth me learning. Let's see. I want a. This has a grappling claw on the front end of its nose. Yeah, I only play on virtual tabletop, so everything I build is color. I provide black and white versions as a courtesy for people that want to print this stuff up at their home table, but I'm almost blind. I've got incredibly bad vision, so I have to use virtual tabletop for me to be able to function. Trebuchet all day. Trebuchet is an 8. And then what you got? Ballistas and harpoon flingers, 4 and 6. I should know that by now. Get that out of here. Bring this in. Four, 6, 8, and C. Ooh, yeah, no, bad position, bad. Probably need to bring this down. I see some text. Hold on, guys. I'll get you in a second. Yeah, it's too close. I can do this, right? trebuchet's really getting in the fucking way. I'm really trying to not overlap one weapon to another, if at all possible. Just because it makes for a clean design, you know. And I don't want to have to double tap. Like I don't want a 6 here and I don't want a 6 over here because it just feels sloppy, you know. Like if I did this, it'd be easy enough for me to. You know, do that. Oh, fine, I'll do that. Fair. My home team are co-workers to my day job, so I don't like using Foundry. I just use Zoom and Roll20, just because the software, most of the times folks are using their work computers, so I don't want to cause policy issues. So we just go with Roll20 because it's a client-side server. Let's do that. But respect, Foundry's good. I only hear good things about Foundry. Don't go down. Bam. That'll do. I feel like that's off though. Yeah, that feels better. Yeah, that lamprey is getting a little squeezed. Turtle ship's getting a little squeezed. The tech's a little too close. Luckily, we have enough space so we can fuck around with that. I feel like that's all the distance I really need to clear the circles, right? Just a little bit of space so it's not so crowded. So once I have all these things laid down, I'll be able to reposition everything. Because the program, is that Xeraxis? Nope, this is the one. See, these are just little labels that can erase as text. So it's easy for me to just change their position if I need to. So once I get all this stuff sussed out, I gotta remember which tool I'm using because I keep hitting letters to change tools. Like I'm in Photoshop. If I would use InDesign like a professional, I probably wouldn't have those problems. But I think I'm just gonna remain a hack for a while. Microsoft Word it's free and it's inviting, and almost anyone can have access to Microsoft Word. And one of the goals of this channel was to demonstrate that you don't have to be a rocket surgeon to make this shit work. It's a little distant, but the letters are these label dots are technically a larger font than the actual ship labels, so it should read okay. I know that you folks have a hell of a lot better vision than I do, and I can still suss out what's going on at this this is the resolution. This is about as close as I need to be on a 32-inch monitor for me to be able to read these things properly. Like I can make out like anything like bludgeoning ram about here. I know it's bludgeoning ram because I know what it is, but I can't actually I can't actually see the individual letters between the G and the G. I can't actually read any of those. I can tell that's a B. Fuck you. You know, I have to be like about this close. I have retinal damage. Technically, I'm missing pieces in my retina. I just wasn't. They weren't part of the contract. Part of the build design apparently when they made me. So. Shrike has, Jesus, there's a lot of dudes that got trebuchets on their back. Trebuchets are slow, but they do big damage. So as long as you keep your weapons loaded before you enter the fray, you've got a decent chance of having an opening silo. But a pilot can use the what is it, the defend action? No, the deflect. If you take the deflect reaction, then you can make a piloting check to change any hit into a miss. So if your tactic is to always open with a full silo of like 5 weapons firing at the same time, the pilot can just dodge it as they come in, and it's a complete miss. And now you have to reload all those fucking weapons. Most of the time, it's not worth it unless you can scuttle them. If you can line up all of your shots for a silo and then scuttle the ship so that the pilot loses concentration. They can't shield the ship for the moment. They can't dodge with it. It's disabled. That's when you want to hit them with a silo, when the weapons are down. You could either board or just completely hammer them with a crap ton of weapons. Your choice, depending on what your own individual objectives in the mission is. So, but you can, with the fighter craft, you can basically make minions. Like fighter craft basically become ship minions. Like the asteroid belt challenge I was depicting. That's those fighter craft. They only have like 80 hit points. They can't take a lot of damage, and Yogi aren't willing to take a lot of damage for their ships. They're selfish creatures. So knocking them out of the sky is relatively easy if you can tag them. But they're also super maneuverable and tanky. They're actually pretty fucking tanky. They're made of metal. So they've got some decent damage reduction to start with, even though they're tiny. But their biggest problem is that they can just sweep across your deck and just dump Umber Hulks and start hypnotizing your crew. That's the real threat that they pose, which makes for a fun encounter, because they're not trying to kill you; they're trying to take your shit, including your crew. So if you get captured by them, that just becomes an escape mission, right? But no one likes being captured. So instead, we use the Light of Zaraxus suggests that while the Night Spider's hunting you, that how am I gonna get these things? I can do 6 here to there, but this 4 I'm gonna have to traipse across through this ballista to get there, and I'm not happy about that, Bob. Why did I arrange these weapons this way? What a moron. What were you thinking, Kearney? Whoever said I could put this up here is correct. I don't like that it's covering the tail, but it's probably not mission critical. But this is just lining up like that. See, you're not gonna see. That's a bad placement. Okay, I'm convinced. This is also just going to, it's the same problem. I'm going to have to use 2 numbers. I hate that. That just feels so inefficient to do it that way. Maybe. Put this target in. What does it say? Put the target in the center of the circle and pull the trigger. Yes, that's right, Sinji. Put the target in the center of the circle and pull the trigger. Put the target in the center of the circle and pull the trigger. Oh, Jesus Christ! This is crossing path 2. Fuck. So I can get 4 here. Man, what a pickle. Okay, so that means I have to take this and pull that down to here. Yeah. Yeah, this will work. This is why I get paid the big bucks. I have to figure out problems like this. Oh boy. We're gonna have to bring this all the way down to here. Jesus. Nope, don't like it. Don't like it at all. Let's do it again. Maybe instead I get the 8 the hell out of the way and I just focus my attention on where the 4 needs to be instead. So we can achieve the goal instead of just fucking around forever. I mean, let's be serious. I'm on stream because I like fucking around. I actually stream because it's easy to get burnout. It's on a 100-page, like there's like 50 illustrations that I've made over the past year in this thing, and it's real easy to burn out on large projects. So I stream so that I can, honestly, I can talk about what it is I'm doing, explain where I'm at and what's going on, so I can remain excited about my own project. Because if I can't stay excited about it, the chance of burnout is honestly pretty fucking massive. It's been literally a year, over a year, since August 2022 that I've been building this. So the risk of burnout is pretty significant. This is like an ever-present threat that I have to work my way through. Yeah, that works. So I'm almost done with my day. It's brunch time at 11:30 here in Seattle, and we're at 11:20 something. So I'm giving myself 10 more minutes. Poor Shrike. You can connect the right 4 to all 3. I could. Oh, you're right. Good eye. Fucking gold star, man. Well done, Arl. You're right. Ah. Oh, brilliant. That's why I say, hey man, nice shot. That's you, buddy. Oh yeah, I can't do that. I thought I'd be able to get the 8 in here, but no, I can't do that. But I can. Do that. And the reason why I want to do that is because I'm trying to maintain some sort of balance. So by picking this up here, come on, Kearney, you know how to play. Trick shot. Get it right. Perfect. Good. Yeah, that feels good. And now I have to do individual cards for each, so I can list out the damage. So you can like a quick reference card. That'll be a pain in the ass to do, but I feel like I need to do that, so that each ship has like its vital statistics, and like you can tell that's a mangonel, but it'd be useful if we listed that it has a reload score of 5 and that it does d6 times 10 bludgeoning damage. Like I can list off here, and you can gather from the book down below, if you look up the weapons, how much damage each of these weapons are supposed to do. But I don't have the space on this page to properly lay out each of them. I probably want to take a quarter page per ship to have like a little like a ship character sheet sort of thing. I need to build that, and then I should just be able to drop the tokens in there pretty easily and use this same formatting, and then just have the row running down the side. But like here would be equals, like for the hammerhead ship, it'd be like bludgeoning ram, it'd be 3d8 times 10, for example, bludgeoning damage. But that's a pain in the ass to put on this page, so I want to have like its own statistical page for that, stat page for that, so you can just do like a little tear out and here's my deck, here's my crew, and I've already got like the little 10 by 10 maps that you can put your squadrons are. So when you have like squadron A, B, and C, you can have a little tag up in the corner. Here's squadron A, it's got 3 star moths in it. Here's squadron B, it's got 2 hammerhead ships, blah 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 blah. However it is you're gonna do that. So we're looking at no ram. Harpoon flip 468. No, 467. Right. Thank you. So I'm gonna go do brunch in a few minutes here. I'll jump off for the day. When I come back this afternoon, I am going to build another video that will publish tomorrow. That will be talking about probably about squadrons. Probably about organizing and commanding squadrons. We did siege weapon, like the siege commander role we did a couple weeks ago, and then we did the pilot role last week. So I'm going to do the siege command, the squadron commander role this week, so that folks can see how squadrons work identical to siege weapons. It's just a different scale of movement that we're working with. Mangonel. There we go. This will work. So if that shit's interesting to you guys, definitely like, subscribe, bell icon, blah de blah. Notification when I'm live in the future. That should sit pretty right there. Perfect. What's up? Solo shipping? Oh yeah. Well, absolutely, yeah. You don't need multiple characters on a ship. You only need a pilot. And as long as the pilot can reach a weapon, like the flitter down here is a good example. This is a 50-foot ship. Here's where your helm is at. Here's an Eldritch cannon, and then here's a bunch of weapons that are, you go up. This is inside. And if you go up this ladder, you're on the top deck, and then this back opens up. But you can put like an entire, like an apartment suite in here, like with a stove and a fridge and a toilet out the back, and then like have a bed here, and you can have a curtain separating the living area, and you can have another curtain separating the helm here at the front. And this is the ladder that goes top to the deck. If you got rid of these, you can put a pavilion on top of it, like a howdah, and make it a small cruiser, like a luxury ship instead. But as long as you're adjacent to or occupying space with a weapon or a spell jamming device, you can operate it. So while you're seeing the chair here, you could use your movement to move the ship, and then you'd have your bonus action, and then you would have your action, and you could use your action if you have at least a cantrip. You could use cantrip energy to empower the Eldritch cannon to be able to make pew pew laser shot type stuff. And then you can spend spell slots to ramp up the damage so it does the same amount of damage as a siege weapon. So, like, by default, it does Harpoon Flinger damage, like D8, like, very small amount, D8, 2D8, 3D8, depending on what your scale of your character is. But then you could dump a spell slot in it to do D4 times 10 damage, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12 damage, depending on, like, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th spell slot. For a D12 at the top end with a 9th level, and only a D4 for 1st and 2nd. 3rd is going to be a D6 times 10, etc. So you can operate if you have at least some spellcasting capability, then all you need is a helm and an Eldritch Cannon. The Illithid craft that we have, the Cuttlefish, it's just a 10 feet wide, 15 feet long, but it occupies a 20-foot space as like a gargantuan-sized creature. But it's just a mecha that runs around and kicks the fuck out of shit. But it has a helm, and it has an Eldritch Cannon that uses a Psionic Blaster to deal psionic, like psychic damage to things as a ray attack. And it has all these tentacles that it can do grappling attacks with. So it can grab people, toss them into the back where the holding cell is, and then eat their mind to create more psychic energy to cause more damage. I'm gonna have to build a separate book just to really dive into like different types of cuttlefish and illithid craft that we can fuck around with. But yeah, you could easily do that. Any of these fighter craft, like we could rearrange the chairs here so that there's only one helm and a harpoon flinger, and then you'd be next to a ballista, so you could slowly load the ballista. But it also has a grappling claw here in the front, so you can latch onto stuff. But the arrow is by far the simplest. Helm, harpoon flinger, and then a slashing ram to deal melee damage and strafing attacks and stuff. This is the absolute, I mean, the minimum size is 10 by 10. But I didn't make anything that small. That'd be like a rocket cycle or something. Or like an artificer that uses an infusion to make their Iron Defender get wings and be a Spelljammer ship instead. That's a fun subclass that I'll put out later on, but it's not a priority at the moment. But yeah, that's the kind of crap that we can do. And I just hit 11:30, and that's my cue to skidoo. That's what my phone's telling me. So I'm going to cut out here. I'm probably going to finish this during, well, let's be frank. I've got about 6 pages left I need to fix on Light of Xeraxis. So I'm fixing Light of Xeraxis off screen. I'm continuing working on this token stuff. I'm going to build individual character, like ship sheets, squadron sheets. I've got, and then I have to do all the hyperlinking and then dropping all the illustrations into the document. Inside of here, anywhere there's a big white space on the page is someplace that an illustration goes. Illustration. You can see I have some here already, but illustration, picture, picture. And I've done all these over the past 300 episodes, dropped in, created all the illustrations that go in all these spaces. So once I finish the Light of Xeraxis conversion guide, then all of it's going to be hyperlinking, dropping pictures in, creating tokens, finishing maps. So I'm doing like production work. I'm not doing illustration anymore. I'm doing hard like layout production stuff. So it's a bit of a change in the gear. And then on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at lunchtime, I build sample characters using the Martial Powers mana system that I've been developing for the past year as well. And then on Mondays and Thursday nights, I illustrate tokens for the Eberron adventure that I'll be publishing for 8th level characters. Once the Spelljammer book is done, the Eberron project moves to my morning spot Monday through Friday. And then my Monday and Thursday night opens up for me to do playtesting. One of those nights I'll do playtesting for the Martial Power system that I stream at lunchtime. Once I get that playtesting going, I can back off doing production for the Martial Power system because it's in testing. It'll be in testing from February till probably July. At that point, the new player's handbook should be out, so that we can then do the conversion to have that drop in as 5e24. And then all the color mana books that I have down below, we'll start streaming reproduction of those because we're going to reformat all of those and rebuild the class features depending on what 5e24 does. So we'll have the Martial Power system and the 5 color mana spell point variant rules all working together so that all 13 classes have the same color mana system for MTG games. So once that playtest is going, then I'll have time during my lunchtime and on Saturday for me to start building supplements for this. The Kaiju book, the Mecha book, the Living Ship companion book, the Artificers, the Dwarven Citadel mapping, the Elven Armada mapping, the Illithid Fleet, Nyogi Death Hunt. And by then, martial powers should be published, so then we'll have pilot powers, using the martial power system to be able to use your mana to do boost and exploit effects while you're piloting, instead of just using the action economy that's in there. We'll have the added option of using maneuvers, exploits, reactions, strikes, and sustained effects to use power on your ship. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's probably going to be our next year worth of activity. And then I'll start doing Kickstarters. I've got the mass combat system that this book came from. This is actually a derivative piece of work from a book that I've been developing called In Command of Armies, Guilds, and Kingdoms. It's a 4X style resource management system that uses the same 5e mechanics you already know from the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook. But that'll probably be my first Kickstarter project in 2025. And God's willing, I'll have enough people that give a crap about what I do and think my stuff is cool enough that they'd be willing to back it. So that's kind of the long tail effort here. But for now, we're building the Spelljammer book. So if anyone out there thinks this shit's cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll be back. I'll have a video tomorrow for you guys, and I'll be back on stream Monday morning. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot for hanging out, man. All y'all. Appreciate it.